This episode of Judgment Day is brought to you by P&P Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Judgment Day. Remember, this episode first aired in 2002.
Welcome to Judgment Day. Tommy and I are going to be reviewing a few games today, including the sequel.
Why are you talking like that?
Well, I'm James Bond. It's my Sean Connery.
Oh!
Doesn't it sound good? Or?
Right. James Bond.
Yeah.
Octopussy.
Right.
Today on Judgment Day, Tommy and I review No One Lives Forever 2 for the PC, Unreal Tournament 2003, Reign of Fire for the Xbox, and in hardware, we take a look at a cordless mouse.
First game we're going to talk about today is No One Lives Forever 2, A Spy in Harm's Way from Fox Interactive and Sierra for the PC.
Kate Archer is back. And speaking of Kate Archer's back, boy, does she have a nice one. The buns on this girl are unbelievable.
You start off in this cool sort of teaser opening level where you're in Japan and you have to take care of all of these ninja assassins that are coming after you. And then you head off into Siberia. There's missions that take place in India and Akron, Ohio. This game is the definition of why story is so important in video games, and becoming more and more so as the technology and graphics get better and better in these games.
That's the great thing, though, is the attention to detail. I mean, you know, everything from hitting wind chimes and hearing a sound
you have to be very careful.
In this game, you have to pick up the dead bodies and hide them so they're not laid out in the open.
It's been very quiet. Good. Say hello. Something.
But a big difference now is the reactive AI on the bad guys. They can hear you. You have to be very stealthy. If they do hear you, they'll come after you, but there are some cool things that you can do if you're being chased. You can go and run and hide and duck into a corner, and you'll see this little eyeball come up, and you'll basically go back to being stealthy again.
The great thing about this game is you can go up to somebody and boom! You put a crossbow right through their skull so they look like Steve Martin.
Ha! I have some punishment for you!
And then I try to see how many crossbows darts I can put in them.
Magnify sound, whereas surfaces like brass.
I had one guy looking like Pinhead at one point, remember, from Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Once you kill him with the crossbow, you can walk up to it, and this is the best part, and you can take the crossbow and then use it to kill somebody else.
Okay, and the reason why you can do that is they've implemented this very cool search system into the gameplay, and it's awesome because now there's not only can you find your crossbow bolts if you shoot them with those things, you can go get them again.
Right.
But the people that you kill in this game may also have some other useful things and some not so useful but very funny things.
There's this one thing you pick up, though. It's called the Angry Kitty, which kind of looks like an Aibo. You know those Aibo dogs that Sony puts up?
Very innocent looking.
Yeah, but then it explodes.
Where is everybody? How about some pain, my friend? No!
Even though you're drawn into the story and you love what you're getting told as you go through the game, it is very linear.
I was a little disappointed, though, with the loading times on this. It seemed like the loading was a little on the long side, but, you know, I'm not going to complain too much about that.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9.
On the positive side, we were blown away by the storytelling of this game. Very, very good presentation in that regard. The gadgets are really cool in this game, especially that angry kitty. And overall, the attention to detail in the gameplay is great. Graphics, sound, and frame rate are all fantastic.
On the negative side, the loading times are a little long. The game itself is actually pretty linear. And although it's cool that you can get in vehicles, it would have been nice to have kind of like a third-person perspective mode, kind of like what they do in Halo.
All right, we're going to stick with the first-person shooter genre and talk about Unreal Tournament 2003 for the PC from Atari. Now, what'd you think of this game?
Yeah, well, you know, this game visually is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it really is setting the new standard for any first-person genre game now. My favorite part is all the different kinds of deaths that you can do onto people and have them do onto you as well.
It's
Tons
really
of different ways to die, and that's really what this game is about, is dying and killing. Now,
but with style.
Let's now talk about the single-player game.
Well, it isn't much.
Okay, so let's talk about it, though.
Okay.
Well, fans, here we are for another edition of the bloodiest sport in the galaxy.
The whole Unreal Tournament 2003 package is split up in different modes of gameplay. You've got deathmatch, team deathmatch, domination, and bombing run.
You're basically like carrying a football, but you can't shoot while you're carrying this thing, so...
You need guys to block, only they've got enormous missile and rocket firing handguns. And in each of these different things, you've got in the single player mode, you've got a ladder that you have to progress up, and you complete levels, and you get extra guys in the levels to beat on, but then you also can build your own team.
The problem that I found, though, is that like some of the basic stuff for basic players like me, they don't have. Like, for example, there's never a map on screen. Now, if you play Halo multiplayer, you can always see your teammates and the enemy, and you know where it is.
Map would be very, very beneficial for like the team deathmatch or the capture the flag.
Each level, is just, it gets bigger, and there's more people in it. I mean, that's there's not, things that you go and have to do and things that you can get. Or
there's little secrets.
It's just basically going around, killing everyone.
But it is so fast and furious and great looking.
Don't forget repetitive.
It isn't repetitive.
It's repetitive.
I don't think so. The action, especially in multiplayer combat, is completely different every time you jump in.
It's one of the greatest multiplayer experiences. Right. But a lot of gamers out there, myself included, aren't really into the multiplayer thing. And for players like us, it's great for about the first 15-20 minutes. It's very visceral. But from a single-player perspective...
Well, I disagree, man. I think that the single-player game is limited. It definitely doesn't stack up to the story-based games that we're such big fans of.
You're disagreeing with what I think of the game?
I don't think you get bored of it. I think...
No, I get bored of it.
No, I don't think you do. I think you love it. Okay.
Step out of your shell for a second and pretend that you don't like multiplayer online games.
Impossible. I can't.
Okay. You got to do it because you're a reviewer. You have to step outside a little bit.
I love multiplayer games. This is a multiplayer game. This is the epitome of that. If you don't like multiplayer games,
which I don't,
you're not going to be interested in this.
Well, there you go.
I think this is a fantastic game. Unreal Tournament 2003, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
On the positive side, Tommy and I both love the graphics of this game. The details are gorgeous. The character models and their animations, especially their deaths, are incredible. And a great new addition to the gameplay is the brand new bombing run, which is football with guns.
On the negative side, it really doesn't offer much of a single-player experience. We were really bummed that there wasn't some kind of map where you could see your teammates or the enemies, especially in multiplayer mode. And as slick as this thing is, it's really just a lot more deathmatch killing.
Stick around, because after the break, we're going to be killing some dragons in Reign of Fire.
So now, is that your James Bond Sean Connery or your Dragonheart Sean Connery?
That Sean Connery is Draco the Dragon.
That's right. Okay. Very good.
Gotcha! Hey, what do you know? The 16-bit console wars, we're talking about Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo going head-to-head for half a decade in the 90s. Now, growing up, I was the only Sega kid in my elementary school, so I had to educate my peers on the differences and offerings between the consoles. They've got A Link to the Past. We've got Beyond Oasis. They've got Mega Man X. Well, we've got a guy made out of balls named Vector Man. Our Mortal Kombat has blood. Nintendo don't. We learned how to play Street Fighter II on 3 buttons, whereas the standard Super Nintendo controller has 6 and makes it a better place to play that game. Mario vs. Sonic? I'm not getting into it here. Sonic's music is better. Classic licensed games like The Lion King or Maximum Carnage, well, typically these were the same on both consoles, but occasionally you get some asymmetry where a different game was released under the same name, like Aladdin, which is objectively better on Sega. Both of these consoles sport absolute masterpiece libraries, and these little jabs and battles of give and take throughout the generation, that's just healthy competition. That competition made both Sega and Nintendo better, and that means we win. Play forever.
You remember the old arcade game Time Pilot? Remember how it was an overhead view and you had the little plane in the center and planes zoomed by and you had to shoot them? Well, it's just like that, except this game is in 3D. And you can actually go down, all the way down till you hit the ground, which is, of course, the first thing I tried. Now, you have this map where it always tells you where your main objective and enemy is. As the enemy gets closer, the map kind of starts to expand. And there's a little indicator that tells you if you're above or below the plane, so you get the whole kind of 3D thing going on there. You do feel a little bit claustrophobic and you don't really feel like you're seeing the whole thing. So it's a little hard to start to target in on stuff in the later levels, especially when you have kind of planes all around you. Now, it's just not shooting down stuff either. You have to kind of go from point A to point B throughout the game. It's a little different and unique. It's not like all those other flying games out there where you're just flying into this world coming at you kind of thing. So I give them points for innovation. That being said, the artificial intelligence in the game isn't very good. I mean, they really couldn't have this game have amazing artificial intelligence, or else it would have been impossible to play. It's one of the setbacks of the way they've set up the game engine here. It is fun to play. It's not a simulator. It's more of an arcade style game, so keep that in mind. I like the sound design. The graphics are good. All the different cities that you kind of go over and smash into. I give this game overall a 7.5.
We're back. We're going to talk about Reign of Fire for the Xbox, and it's also out for the PlayStation 2. Now, you may remember Reign of Fire was a summer movie about dragons attacking the planet Earth.
Lasted about a week in the theaters.
Didn't do so well.
To sum it up in one word.
Yes.
Brown.
Lots of brown.
There's lots of brown in this game.
Well, what's happened is that it's in the future and the world's been destroyed and devastated by these dragons, so everything's all broken apart and there's rubble everywhere and the sky's always gray and it's just really murky.
Mostly brown, though.
And if you don't have your brightness and contrast all figured out on your television set, you may have trouble sort of figuring out exactly what you're looking at sometime.
Mankind had deceived themselves, remembering the beasts as myth and legend. It was too late. We discovered the truth. That the dragons were all too real.
They didn't just take a movie license and slap it into some engine. They actually created a pretty cool and unique engine, and the amazing thing about it is, like, for example, you start out in this kind of Jeep vehicle thing.
Yes.
With, and you learn how to launch missiles, and you have heat-seeking missiles and normal missiles and machine guns, and it's a different way to control the vehicle. It's not like your normal method.
It feels like Halo's Jeeps, actually.
But that's what I loved about this game, is that you feel like similar to Halo, you feel like you've been dropped in this massive war.
Yes.
And while dragons are flying and you're trying to fend them off, then you got these little guys crawling and trying to bite you.
Well, that was the thing. That was the thing.
Cool.
When I saw the movie, they didn't really give you the sense of why the dragons had been so powerful. They didn't. I guess they didn't have the budget to go all over the world and have all the battles with the dragons against the humans kind of thing. But when you're inside the game and you're in those battles, you really get a sense of how powerful they are.
Uh-oh, I think you made him mad.
My favorite part of this game is the fact that you can actually be the dragon in the game.
Oh,
You take
true.
on the humans.
That's right.
It's very fun. The physics are completely different than all the vehicles. You get to drive tanks and jeeps and other kinds of craft like that, but when you're in the sky, it's a totally different feeling. There are some problems with the game, and I was really surprised to see some of the polygon deformation on the Xbox. You can actually see the ground on the mountains and stuff actually shifting as the textures are loading into memory. You don't want to see that on the Xbox.
Right.
I didn't like the collision detection that's in the game, because a lot of stuff you can drive through, and then if there's stuff that you actually can't drive through, you bounce off of it like you're like a bumper car or something like that. It's a little bit weird.
It's definitely a little more arcadey than Sim, and I like that about this game. I'm giving it an 8. I had fun with it.
I'm going to give Reign of Fire 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, 6.5.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, I feel a ding-ding kicking coming on. On the positive side, this game really makes you feel like you're in a war. It's kind of a unique game experience, which is hard to come by these days. And finally, You get to play the bad guys.
On the negative side, we actually saw some polygon deformation in the landscapes on the Xbox version of this game. The collision detection in the game isn't that good. You can actually drive through trees without a problem. And the collision detection that's in there just makes your vehicles bounce off of them like everything is made out of rubber or something. Got something a little bit different today on hardware. We've got the MX 700 cordless mouse from Logitech.
For all you tech freaks out there,
Right.
It actually updates 125 times a second.
Pretty good.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
That's more than a hummingbird's wings.
The other thing too is that the optical sensor, the actual little optical light LED thing that's on there, actually reads information a lot better than the first versions of the optical mice. So it's going to get even more precise. So if you're talking sniping in Unreal Tournament 2003, you're going to have no problems with this.
Well, that's not correct though, because the sensor is actually off to the top left-hand side a little bit
Not
too.
in the center, I know. It's a little bit different, but you do get used to it as you're playing with the mouse a little bit.
And if you're a lefty, you got to look somewhere else, because this mouse is ergonomically fits
Contoured, yeah.
the right-handers.
It has two AA-sized rechargeable batteries in the mouse, so that adds to the weight. And
Well, that's the thing I was going to say, is it's heavy, and that's kind of my only kind of problem with it.
Yeah. The good news is that you don't have to keep throwing batteries into the thing. You can stick it in the recharger. You only have to charge it for a few minutes, and you're going to have hours and hours of playtime with the thing. With the 8 buttons that you've got, you can do things like program all kinds of documents to open on the fly, or surfing the web. You can go backwards and forward at the press of a button.
Well, the problem is that when we tried to use some of these macros with video games, it didn't work.
You going to recommend this or not?
Not really. I'm going to recommend it when the next version comes out.
Good advice. Not going to recommend it either. On the positive side, we like the generous array of buttons that you can play with on this thing. The rechargeable batteries are a nice feature to have in anything that's cordless. And it feels good in your hand.
On the negative side, this is a heavy mouse. The programmable buttons, although super cool, don't work for most video games. And the price on this bad boy is going to run you about 80 clams, which is like the same price as about 15 Dreamcast games right now.
Coming up next, we're going to talk about Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny for the PlayStation 2. Stick around.
Samurais, huh?
That's right.
Do you like my cane?
I do like your cane.
Aha!
What are you going to do with that?
Vic Kebab.
Lee from P&P Games here, marveling at a feat of engineering. Score 1 for immersion. The OEM wireless controller is here. The Nintendo Wavebird is a great addition to your arsenal. No strings attached. I mean, the cord is gone. That's one less thing to remind me that I'm sitting on my couch and not actually waving the Master Sword or firing an arm cannon. I mean, that's why we wanted to cut the cord ultimately, right? To help us disconnect. Now, while I doubt that the Wavebird is the best wireless controller I will ever use, you never forget that you're first. Kevin, I'm first. I get to use the Wavebird. Play forever!
Buried Treasures brought to you by EB Games.
Okay, you guys remember when the PlayStation first came out, there was a game on there called Die Hard Trilogy, right? It was this awesome, awesome game. One of the first great games for the PlayStation. Well, did you know they actually did a sequel to that not too long ago? It's called Die Hard Trilogy 2. Now, I gotta be honest, this game got panned hardcore in the press. And to be honest with you, I don't know why. This is clean and simple fun. Now, it's like the original, where there's 3 things you have to do. There's third person going around and shooting, there's driving, and there's also the whole gun, first person, gun con type shooting with the light gun, right? Now, I'll admit, I'll be the first one to admit, this definitely wasn't as cool as the first one, because, the first one was actually really excellent. They had snowmobiles, but we're not reviewing that one. I'm talking about this one here. Let's face it, any game that has a rocket launcher, how bad could it be, right? No, this game's actually really fun. It's done by Fox Interactive. The Die Hard thing, they just came out with Nakatomi Plaza, so if you're in that kind of Die Hard mood, like I need more Die Hard, definitely check this one out. One thing though, definitely for the shooting mode, you definitely want to get your light gun hooked up there, because trying to control that with the joystick and gamepad doesn't work. It's a great game, a great pickup at a small price, Everybody needs to play this at least once. Die Hard Trilogy 2.
All right, we're back. We're in front of the parabolic microphones, which are really cool.
I think I got one of those pens that like shoots out a missile.
They probably have one of those here.
Yeah, can we get one of those over here?
We're going to talk about Samurai's Destiny, Onimusha 2 for the PlayStation 2 from Capcom. The graphics are incredible.
The sound is amazing in this game.
The sound is very good, although there's some cheesy voiceovers.
The storyline is extremely rich.
I like the story in this game. It's very cool.
The effects, the water,
the lightning effects with the weapons,
rain,
the snow
mud,
stuff.
Snow, very impressive.
But they've screwed it up because they've stuck with those static angle Resident Evil style cameras.
Oops.
And you're always sort of confused about where you're going to go.
You can't even use the analog stick for the controls.
I know, and I found myself, because it is that familiar rotate your character and press up to go forward type of control, you never walk in a straight line in this game, and it's so frustrating.
I gotta tell you, it is such a shame because this game has so many wonderful things going for it.
Well, number one, you're a samurai. You don't have to be much more than just a cool-ass looking samurai dude.
Look at me. Do you like what you see?
The cinematics in the game are very well detailed.
The opening cinematic with the village getting demolished by all the demons in there.
Actually, no, wait. The first cinematic in the game is if you just, and it's the weirdest, most out-of-place thing in the world, and you got to do this. Load in the game and just don't push anything, just kind of sit there, and it busts into this Japanese Motley Crue ripoff.
Really reminded me of playing another adventure game, and you're going to be surprised by what I'm going to tell you.
I'm sure I am. I always am.
Myst. I felt like, yes, because it's basically you're getting all of these pictures. You get to walk into each one of these photographs.
You know what this game reminded me of?
What?
The first Onimusha, because that's exactly what this is.
They've added a kind of an RPG kind of thing in there, where you have to talk with people and you have to sort of get their help.
You have to trade sponge cake.
You got to trade your sponge cake and your tea.
What is that about?
And you get a fan. You can actually choose to power up your weapons as you go through the game.
Or your armor.
Yeah, you can use the soul energy because you're soul sucking all the bad guys after you kill them. Right. But then if you run out of soul, you get a little thing that pops up that says you don't have enough soul. Although I was getting a bit, PO'd at the fact that I couldn't tell what angle I was going to walk into.
So frustrating.
I had fun. I got to say, I had fun. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, that's exactly what I give it, a 7.5, but I didn't have as much fun as you because I was so frustrated with the controls.
On the positive side, the graphics in this game are gorgeous, especially the environments. The samurai weaponry, the swords and the spears are very, very cool, and you can power them up with amazing special effects. There is more than just hacking and slashing in this game. You actually have to build friendships and talk with people, and you can buy stuff, just like in an RPG.
On the negative side, the controls for this game are absolute. And although the game is 3D, you have these static camera angles which really disorientate you. And finally, although you can collect things, do you really want sponge cake?
Today on Judgment Day, Tommy and I reviewed No One Lives Forever 2, A Spy in Harm's Way for the PC. Tommy and I both loved the game and thought it was awesome to see Kate Archer back in action. Also on the PC, we reviewed Unreal Tournament 2003. I love this game, I love that multiplayer action, but Tommy's more into single-player games, and this one comes in a little bit short on that front. On the PlayStation 2, we reviewed Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny. Now, we both love the look and feel of this game, but what's up with the terrible camera angles and that weird control? On the Xbox, we looked at Reign of Fire. This is the dragon combat game. We were surprised we enjoyed this one as much as we did, but it's got some flaky collision detection going on. In hardware, we reviewed the MX700 cordless mouse from Logitech. We both thought this was a great idea, but the mouse is a little bit heavy and a little bit expensive, so we couldn't recommend it. On the Game Boy Advance, Tommy reviewed Airforce Delta Storm from Konami. Now, this is a very innovative and very complicated air combat game.
Well, that's it for today's show. We had a lot of fun talking about the games today. Check out this new watch I got here, man.
What's that?
Look at that. It's pretty sweet, huh?
Hey, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?
I love this thing. No! We'll see you guys next time on Judgment Day.
I was hoping you'd be able to crap on people, when you're flying around as the dragon. Wouldn't that have been cool? The crap button, and then you could really call it Rain of Brown.
Well, you can pick up certain
that
people.
That would make a lot of sense.
You can.
But you could crap on them, and that'd be fun. That'd be great.
I think you're designing your own game.
Yeah, well, it's great.
In your imagination.
Rain of Brown.
There is everybody. Some pain, my friend. I have some punishment for you.
This classic episode of Judgment Day is brought to you by PMP Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Judgment Day. Thanks for watching, and play forever.